Well, I just found out I did my whole speech without recording. Anyway, take 2 or 3, whatever it is now. My name is Robert Smith, and this is my conceptual speech on the Big Bang Theory. I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so my objective here is to edify you and educate you on the Big Bang Theory. I hope to... pardon me. Okay. I hope to, brief a few points that will help you better understand the subject. And I hope to take you through the path of what the Big Bang Theory is, how it was discovered, and what it means for us, and how it applies to what this all is. First things first, I do want to explain what a theory is in the scientific community. Many people believe a theory to just be an idea or a guess, and I must tell you that it is not at all. It is a well-documented and supported idea in the scientific community that has facts, it has well put in a thought. Discrepancies have been proven, and anyone who has questions about it have basically been dispelled, and it has now become a theory has become a pretty much an accepted idea about the reality of things. Anyway, with that, the Big Bang Theory. Basically, what it says is that the universe started as just a ball. A ball of infinite mass and a whole lot of heat. Not unlike a star. So we predict that the universe is 13.8 billion years old. So 13.8 billion years ago, this ball of infinite mass exploded at 10 billion degrees Fahrenheit, or 5.5 billion degrees Celsius. This is a very, very hot, as you can imagine, explosion, and has caused all this matter to expand. And as it cooled, literally 1/trillionth of a second later, we have the first protons. Protons gave birth to the first light. And 3 minutes later, nuclear fusion has begun and ended. And now we have electrons and neutrons. And now we're ever expanding and cooling. And we have in that time magnetism. We have in that time gravity. We have in that time, pardon me, in that time we have, more complex atoms, sorry. And by 340,000 years later, after the Big Bang event, we have the first hydrogen atoms, which are some of the most simple atoms, but most abundant. Because of hydrogen, we have stars, the formation of stars to thank, and hence life itself. The Big Bang event was short, like I said, 3 minutes max, and the first bits of matter from this matter were being created. But it wasn't until 400,000 years after the first hydrogen atoms emerged that we have what we could call the modern day universe that we can observe. So after the first few atoms, it took another 400,000 years. Pardon me. Okay. Pardon me. So it took another 400,000 years for the first atoms to create the first stars and first planets and first bodies of gases that contained life in them. And that essentially is what the Big Bang Theory is. It's just a big ball that exploded. Next, I want to kind of take you through how the Big Bang Theory was discovered. A scientist by Matt Williams says that, in the early 1900s when the Big Bang Theory really took hold. And several scientists from America, Russia, and in Switzerland, which are the three early space gazers of the world, really started. Using observational data to actually make inferences and calculations about what the universe is, what it's doing. And it's amazing that these men were able to actually just use their eyeballs and some telescopes and their brains to make such amazing inferences. And eventually, by 1960, the Big Bang Theory was actually the most supported theory about what the universe is, and was pretty much far surpassed all previous theories. So within 50 short years, it was proved time and time again to be what is most likely to be the truth. Pardon me as I skim my notes. So now what kind of tools do they use? We have what is called microwave background radiation, or a cosmic microwave background, which is old light, ancient light. It's measurable, it's calculable, and it's there. And it's something that scientists have been using to not only understand which direction galaxies are going and came from, they're using it to understand how hot certain areas of the galaxy are, and they're actually able to use it to infer what certain galaxies are made of. It's quite fascinating. And that paired with what we call a Doppler redshift, which is basically taking the light of stars and taking the data that they provide. They're not just simple light, but they actually have measurable properties within them. And by using these two tools, scientists have been able to prove that all other galaxies are moving away from our galaxy, which is important because it proves that the universe is expanding and moving. It's not revolutionary, and it's not standing still, which was a very common theory before the Big Bang Theory. Many brilliant minds, generations of men and women, have dedicated their scientific careers into proving this theory, and several satellites and space missions have sent in the sole purpose of discovering some of the questions and calculating some of the things we need to calculate to prove this theory right or wrong. So now that we have a little bit of what the Big Bang Theory is and how it came to be, we need to make an inference as to what it means for us. What it basically means is there's one of two ways that we kind of understand this might end. The Big Bang Theory not only talks about the start, but the end of all things. The first one is called the Big Crunch. The Big Crunch basically says that the universe does not have infinite mass, will eventually reach a finite point and retract back. Basically, this means that there is more energy than there is mass. This kind of goes against one of Einstein's theories. However, what it means is that the energy will propel it outward, but the energy will also bring it back. And it will start retracting slowly, but more violently and quickly come back, kind of like how it started, although opposite. The more supported theory is what we call heat death, or some like to call it the big freeze, but we'll get to why they call it that in a little bit. Basically, what it means is that the energy and the mass in the universe are actually the same. And this means that it will expand and it will slow down, but it won't stop. But this, based on the life of stars, stars burn up their matter. They actually just burn it up, kind of like the way I burn money. Anyway, so it's just it'll burn, these stars will burn up all their mass, and what they'll do is they'll explode and become what we call black holes. And black holes actually, when they get too close to each other, form into super black holes. Kind of a funny name. Anyway, so these super black holes will suck in all energy and all light until they have burned up what we call Hawking radiation, or a Hawking value, I believe. And because it's found by Stephen Hawking. And basically, this means that the black hole will turn it on itself and just disappear. Fascinating. And so it is theorized that these black holes will eventually pop up all over the universe until all matter has been burned up, which is why we got heat death. They call it the big freeze because as the big holes consume energy and matter, it actually brings the total temperature of the universe down until we reach absolute zero, which means that there's nothing in the universe and it just ceases to exist. Anyway, I hope my presentation has been edifying and enjoyable to you, and I hope you've learned something. I'm sorry that I didn't have a presentation behind me. I wish I could have shown you graphs and pictures that correlate with my data and findings. However, I was pressed for time to complete this assignment, and I just urge you to Google the map of the Big Bang and Google the map of the universe, and Google these things that have been discovered about our universe, and really, just take the time to read about these things. They're fascinating and they get you thinking. They really broaden your perspective. Anyway, I have kind of gone over my time limit, and I should stop talking. Have a wonderful night.